Today I'm going to try to revive this dead battery. I'm also going to look at the silicon rectifier, the ignition coil, and the CDI. This battery has a whole bunch of gunk, some old acid. So the first step is to take it outside. I'm going to fill it with water and baking soda, rinse it out, kind of neutralize the acid. And then while that's drying, I'm going to do an inspection on these three parts. And then after that, I'm going to refill the battery with some distilled water and some Epsom salt. And then I'm going to do a trickle charge on it and see if the battery can come back. Alright, just for fun, I'm going to check the voltage on these leads. It's in at about 0.4. So it's at 0.4 before charging. Okay, I'm going to let this battery drain for a while, so we'll just set that aside. The rectifier is the first piece I want to do an inspection, and there should only be continuity going one way. So I'm just going to pick this side, and I've got this set to ohms. And we're reading that direction. So now I'm going to switch the red to this one. Test it again. And we have nothing. So this rectifier is good. Alright, this is the ignition coil. There is the primary coil and the secondary. I'm going to test the primary coil first. And I've got this set to the wrong thing. There, I've got it set to ohms now. We are supposed to sit between 0.2 and 0.3. Now it's down to 0.4. It's a little off. Next is the secondary coil, which is in here. I'm going to try to clip this on. Or not. There's a needle like this in here, so it's really hard to try to get to hold still on it. Let's see if I got that now. For the reading on the secondary loop, we are not getting the correct values. So there might be something wrong with this ignition coil. Next is the CDI unit, and there's a whole table of information, a lot of testing. There's 5 different leads. So I'm just going to start working through. This side is the negative, and this side is the positive. So first up is SW and EXT. Alright, the next step for reviving this battery is adding distilled water and some Epsom salt. I'm going to go boil some distilled water and then mix in, I think, like 2 cups of distilled water to 7 to 8 ounces of the Epsom salt. And just make sure it's completely dissolved. Then I'm going to add that mixture into this cell. Alright, I've got the water solution ready. I actually put it in this bottle to make it easier to get in to the terminals. I have also cut off this lead because these wires were stripped and I want to be able to hook this up to the battery charger. So I figured this is a little safer. But yeah, so I got the water to about 150 degrees. Again, it was 2 cups, and I put in about 7 ounces of Epsom salt. So now I'm going to just refill these. You can actually see it's less around in there. Let's see, this one needs a little more. That one's full. Alright, so next I am going to now that it's full, I'm going to leave the caps off. From what I understand, sometimes when you're charging, stuff can boil over, so I'm going to leave it in this tub too. The battery charger I have is for a car, so the lowest amps I can set it to is 2. The battery is supposed to be charged at 0.25 amps, so I'm going to just keep an eye on it every 20-30 minutes, just check on it. It's probably going to charge a lot quicker, but it also may heat up and damage itself. So I'm just going to monitor that for the next couple of hours. Alright, so the plan is to get this all hooked up, put it back in the plastic bin in case stuff boils over, and then I'm going to leave it by the window, which is open, so that it's vented. Okay, so it's on 12 volt, 2 amp. I am going to let that sit. Alright, something I do want to mention about this is that this is really just kind of an experiment for learning. I do plan to use this, but it's going to be a backup battery. I have ordered and already got a new battery for the bike. This is more of how do you repair a battery? Does it actually work? I realize I will have to figure out a way to solder this connection back on in order to get it used, get it cleaned more. I understand there's a lot more work there, but I just wanted to see if distilled water and Epsom salt would help, and so far it looks like it is. I also realized that until I get this battery into a bike that's running and it can charge, I've got it up to 7 volts, but it's just going to lose its voltage over time. So this is really just kind of an experiment to see what works, what doesn't work, and to learn a whole bunch of new things. I also forgot to mention that along with the window being open and the plastic tub, I'm going to bring out our kitchen fire extinguisher. Have that sitting out here, just in case. Alright, so had some positive and some negatives. It's electricity. The battery started off at 0 volts. It is now, after about 30-40 minutes, sitting at 7. It's charging so fast because you're supposed to use 0.25 amps. The lowest this charger goes is 2. So that's why it's charging quicker, and that's why I wanted to keep an eye on it. So it's working, and I was going to keep it going, but when I pulled the plug out, and let me show you guys. The plug has some burn marks on it. I bought this used. I don't know if it came like this. I don't think it did. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm literally going to pull the plug on this. I need to check the amperage on that outlet. I thought it would be enough, but it's an old building. Who knows? So either way, this is going to wrap it up for today. It worked. I mean, I don't know how old that battery is, but it's in rough shape, and I was able to get up to 7 volts already, so I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, so that's it for today. Let's go safely explore.